Hello everybody, today we're going to take a look at our brand new page progression app. This is a cool new app that we just came out with that allows the viewer a way to understand when the next page in the playlist is going to appear. Let's just start out by illustrating what that looks like, at least in one fashion here. I've got a simple playlist queued up and just take a peek at it here. So if you notice at the lower left, there's that little disappearing pie chart or pie symbol there. And so as you can see, as it gets smaller and smaller, we get closer and closer to the page transition time. And so basically that's what the app does, and it can be styled in a whole bunch of different ways and positioned anywhere you want. And so it's just a oddly satisfying little wrinkle that you can add to your screens that can be really useful as well if a person wants to know when the next page is coming. So a couple things to understand about it apart from just the general styling, which we'll take a look at in a minute. It is only going to appear once the page resources have loaded, so it's not going to appear if it's still buffering the video or something like that. And you can kind of see on some of these pages here, I think it's the next one, there is a delay in the animation for the item there, so it doesn't appear until a little bit after. So keeping aware of other aspects to building the page. If you've got the rest of your material set to animate 2 seconds after the page appears, you might start like this is with a blank screen and then the content appears. Meanwhile, the page progression app is showing you how far along we are in time. Anyway, enough of that. Let's take a look at another permutation of that same functionality. Let's go over here to a different playlist I have and just give you another sense for how this can be styled. Same pages, different styling for the page progression app. Look here at the bottom of the screen now, and we see that horizontal bar shrinking. You can color that any way you want. You can position it anywhere, but same functionality. So let's jump out of here and let's see how this is put together. Let's start out just by adding a few pages to our account. It's Father's Day coming up, so let's just grab one of those pages, grab another couple pages. It doesn't matter. Let's grab this guy. And let's grab one more. Where was that page I was going to put in here? It doesn't really matter, but let's just grab something. Okay, so we just drag our pages down into the playlist like we usually do. Add those in there, and we'll reduce the timing on this just so we can see quickly how this works. And what we're going to do is add a blank page with the page progression app on it. And so basically how it's going to work is we need the app to be located on a page that is common to your playlist. And so that can either happen by adding the app to a blank page in the foreground page position of the playlist, or you can add the app to a page that you're using as a common background to all your pages on the main section of the playlist. I suspect for most people it's probably going to be easiest to add it to the foreground, unless they're already doing background pages, in which case that's an easy add-on since you can just add the app to your existing background page. I don't want to go into topics that we've already covered elsewhere, but let's take a look at how you set up the app. So we're going to go into this blank page here. Actually, let's just rename it Page Progression. And all we're going to put on this page for these purposes is that new app. So when you're in the page designer, you'll notice at the lower left there is the Page Progress app. So we just click on that like any other app. And all we have to do is style it the way we want it. So as you can see here, we've got the horizontal bar option, which is what we looked at most recently, and the bare option of that, which is just a little more minimalistic. Vertical versions of the same type of thing, and then the pie format. And in each case, you've got the color options to choose from, which can be anything you want. And you can make it partly transparent as well. So if you've got content that you really don't want to cover up, you can make this pretty transparent and still provide that functionality. So let's just put this somewhere like that and drag this down here. Of course, again, this can go anywhere, right? So just as an example, you can put it here. And you could even put a message in front of that, time until next page. if you wanted to. I don't know if this is going to line up with where we want it on the playlist, because you've got different pages probably in rotation, so you got to be aware of what's going to fit overall with your styling. Now, of course, this text is totally optional. I'm just showing you that you can have additional material on this foreground page that we're going to add to the playlist. Come here, you. Maybe we'll put this over here. Maybe that would look better. Okay, so we've got that. Let's save this and go back. And all we have to do is drag this new page progression app, or page progression page, the page I've labeled as page progression, which is just a name. And we're going to open up our playlist here and drag it into that foreground page position. So really, the foreground page position is used for a variety of purposes, and this is one good example of that. It's basically a way to overlay a piece of material on top of all your other pages that are running. So you can do that with tickers, scrolling text, or really anything. And whatever part of that page that's on the foreground that's stock white will be transparent to what's running underneath of it. So in this case, with the Page Progress app, that's perfect, because we're just going to see that appear on all the other pages by way of the layering of these sections of the playlist. So let's go and take a look at what this came out as. Okay, here's our material there at the lower right. Looks like I might have been better off typing that text in white, but who knows? Yeah, I can't even see it on this page. So there's a good representation of some things you have to be aware of when you go to fool around with this. If you did want to do some text, you'd want to have that right color that's visible on all of your pages, and of course all this stuff in a position that it's not obtrusive to the content. But definitely a little bit of fun. We hope you guys enjoy it. That's pretty much all there is to it. Just set your styling, put your positioning for for these items wherever you want. That's going to not interfere with things. And then, like I said, you've got the options for either foreground page position in the playlist or as a common background page for each of these pages. So that second option with the background page is only going to work if you've got obviously a common page that you're using as a background for all your pages, and in that scenario you wouldn't be able to have these drastically different looking pages like this. So folks that are using background pages are trying to attain a consistent style from one page to the next, and the difference between the pages would be just some text in the middle or something like that. So a common background is going to have a substantially similar look from page to page. So it's that's for a different way of going about things. But if your pages are drastically different in styling like this from one to the next for content, then the foreground page position is going to be the way to go for you. In any case, if you have any questions, as always, reach out to us, phone, text, or email, and I hope you enjoyed this video.